I'm talking with Dr. Khalid Mumin, Superintendent of the Reading, Pennsylvania School District. Good afternoon,
Good
Khalid.
afternoon. Good afternoon, Doug. Good to hear from you and see you today.
It's great to be with you. And I am very pleased to announce that Khalid has been named Superintendent of the Year for 2021 by the Pennsylvania Association of School Administrators.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm just so thankful, humble, and just very motivated to be able to speak on the issues around education in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, man. It's very exciting. But I'm standing on the shoulders of giants, I must
Well,
say.
I'm sure it's a well-deserved award. Oh,
Thank you.
congratulations again.
Thank you.
Now, we are talking about Khalid's new book, Problem Child, which has come out,
Yes.
I suppose. And uh, let me ask you first, Khalid, what led you to write this book? And tell us about the title also and how you came up with that.
Yes. Well, I'll start with the title, Doug. The title is Problem Child and the Infinite Possibilities of Leading Students in Poverty to Success. And I believe that it is my story in a nutshell, mapped onto my experiences as a teacher and administrator in regards to further motivating children who live in poverty, who are underserved, to buy into education as that prerequisite for success in regards to, changing their conditions from a economic standpoint, but also having the confidence to engage in this democracy, having a voice and not remaining voiceless, taking on the responsibility of paying it forward and bringing others along, bringing the youth along. And this is cliche, however, it is very powerful and it's prevalent. The children are our future. Quite simply, Doug, I grew up in Philadelphia in a section called Logan, which to this day, since the early 70s, is the most underserved community in the city of Philadelphia.
Mm.
High poverty rates. And so it is the city of brotherly love and sisterly affection, man. I love Philadelphia. And I attended Olney High School in the school district of Philadelphia. And I learned over time that when someone believes in you, it provides the necessary fuel to propel you forward. Like I said, the title, I was once labeled a problem child. It wasn't until I was in
Oh, you
danger of,
were?
yes, yes, man. My sister, I was cursed by having a sister who was a straight A student and she was
Oh,
perfect. So when I came along and we had the same last name, oh my goodness, the teachers would say, "Uh-oh, here comes demon seed." And I say that I say that because it was endearing and with affection because they cared about me. That there wasn't it was not a a slight comment where they were pushing me down. They were endearing and I accepted it. However, while being labeled a problem child, it wasn't until I was in danger of being placed in a juvenile detention center. As I tell the story, I love ninth grade so much I did it twice. And that was an eye opener for me. I began to take education and schooling and mentoring seriously. Um, Influential, non traditional parenting, teachers, and community support saved my life. I was redirected off of the high school to prison pipeline onto the road of education, of opportunities and infinite success. That's it in a nutshell. That was my motive behind writing Problem Child. That you have to, as educators, we have to take on the responsibility of investing in potential. That young man, the problem child, AKA Demon Seed, Atia's little brother, you know, I was a works in progress and it took strong mentoring, strong, influential teaching, pedagogy, and instruction, where they invested in potential. And look, man, I'm still flying high, man. I love it. I love it so much. And I really appreciate all of those adults in my life that really took an interest in me and helped me. They saw a future for me. They saw a future for me while I was living carpe diem, living for the day. They kept me focused on the end result, which is
Well,
success and have an opportunity to change your conditions.
so tell us more about the book in a nutshell, how it's structured, the chapters. Just give us a overview of
Absolutely.
the book.
Absolutely. Basically, the book is an autoethnography. So the first three chapters, the first three chapters really tell my personal story, my journey from childhood to education. Along those lines, there's a lot in there because, again, the title, Problem Child, I talk about some of my issues, which, wow, really, it was very enlightening for me to look back and really delve into that vulnerability of telling your story, but telling that story and how it maps on to how I've lived my life in regards to my educational career. I believe defeating poverty is a form of social justice in an ever-changing society. And those, especially teachers and administrators and confidants and counselors and social workers, attendance aides, they have the ability and also the responsibility to motivate children to defeat the odds in beating poverty. And it's all about reframing the way students view their chances at success. In Problem Child, you'll find a three-pronged approach at addressing teaching and leadership for students who grow up in underserved communities. This approach not only looks at the impact of district leaders can have, but also examines how teachers and teachers and support staff in the classroom are greatly impacting student outcomes. It's really an ode it's an ode to the underserved child, which at the end is holding that torch as being successful.
Sounds like a fascinating book. Now, you are chief executive of a major school system.
Yes.
Tell us a bit about Reading, the community you serve, and a bit about the
Yes,
district and how you're applying some of the things you're doing to apply the
absolutely. First of,
messages in the book.
yes. First and foremost, Reading School District is the third largest urban setting in the state of Pennsylvania. The largest district would be the School District of Philadelphia, where I'm a graduate class of 1990. Then you have Pittsburgh School District in Pittsburgh, of course. And then there's the Reading School District. Now, the way those numbers look, you're looking at Philadelphia, which has over 200,000 students. Then there's a huge drop down to Pittsburgh, which is at about approximately 50,000 students. And then you're at the Reading School District, where we fluctuate between 18,000 to 19,000 students. This is what makes us very unique, okay? My student population is unlike any other student population in the state. We are 90% Latino here in the city of Reading.
90.
And 90% Latino
Hmm.
in the school district itself. The city is about 72% Latino, but the student population is 90%. This is another number that really is an eye opener. We're 99% underserved. So when you look at diversity of our student body, and then you look at, and I mean, I said 90% Latino, but overall we're 98% students of color. When you look at ethnicity, along with economics, looking at the economics, the socioeconomic status, and you put those things together, it creates an opportunity for a district leader, a CEO, superintendent, to stand on that platform of equity. It's expected of me It's expected of me by my students. It's expected of me by my community, definitely expected of me by my staff and my school board. We have to buy into providing voice for the underserved. Now, get a little deeper into those numbers. We are 27% English language learners, and then looking at our special education numbers, we're emerging to 20% special education. So all of those challenges really symbolize the need to have leadership that is able to step out there and give voice to the underserved. Again, motivating them to buy into education as that prerequisite to change their conditions. Two, understanding that there is a place in this democracy for them as responsible adults. And three, listening to them intently, keeping them in the fold in regards to how we're educating them, listening to them, learning from them to be able to further intensify our educational delivery for them is so important. And that's been my life work the past 6 years here. And I love it here in the city of Reading. When I came on board, I have 5 predecessors in 4 years.
Five in 4 years.
Five in 4 years. So now now what's happening, and there was a press release yesterday in regards to the Superintendent of the Year announcement here in Pennsylvania. They said at the end of my contract, I'll be the longest serving superintendent in Reading's history over the past 50 years.
And you're at 6 years.
I'm at 6. This is year 7. This is year 7 that we're in now. And I'll tell you, the recipe or the secret sauce is maintaining your leadership with great head and heart alignment. You have to be loved and accepted by our students. You have to be loved and accepted by our community, and you have to be visible. And you have to have the mindset that you are constantly learning to bring back tools to be able to motivate our team to really delve into investing in the potential of our students. We don't look at the product right now, meaning the student saying this is it. No, we're looking at our students with that mindset of, man, look what this kid can become.
So what key lessons do you want the reader to take away from this book? Mm-hmm. What are the 2 or 3 preeminent lessons you want them to take away?
Yes. One is that for children, especially our older children, because the younger children tend to love school. They love schooling, pre-K, and then something happens around 6th grade when you start hitting those middle school years, and you have, just basic middle level concept where you have a lot of the social and emotional development happening. And there is a key. As educators, we have to listen to the students. We have to engage them in this process called education. We can learn so much from them. Second, Doug, we have to continue to create sustainable plans that our students can have open pathways to success and multiple pathways to success, not simply by sitting at dealing with an assessment. We have to look at the whole child. We have to provide students multiple opportunities or multitude of opportunities to demonstrate their learning. The old constructivist view. Sometimes many kids, they show their learning by doing. We have to make sure that we have those diverse measures in place in our curriculum and in our pedagogical stances. And the third thing is, we have, as educators, we have the responsibility of leading youth. Our kids, sometimes they have good days, sometimes they have bad days. The young Khalid Mumin had more bad days than good days. But it's the educator's responsibility to continue to delve into the mindset of the child, because the light switch will come on one day. You have to remain that motivating factor You have to remain that motivating factor. The teachers that I salute now, when I was in their classrooms, they said, man, we didn't even know if Khalid was awake. I was. I was learning, and they were taking, they were putting it all out on the line to make sure that I was going to become something. And the last thing that I would say is a takeaway. As educators, we can never, ever diminish our importance in this democracy. This pandemic alone, the many challenges that are being presented, all of these roads lead into schools. All of these roads
That's right.
lead into schools. I think this is an opportunity for us collectively to stand up and take on that responsibility with confidence, saying, yes, we are powerful pillars in this democracy. The kids are depending on us. The parents are depending on us. The communities are depending on us. The partners are depending on us. These children are our future.
Well, this sounds like a very exciting and inspiring book. Is it your first book?
Yes, it's my first book.
What was it like to write it? Tell us about the writing experience. What was challenging? What was satisfying?
Yes. One of the challenges was, how do I narrow this book down to something that everyone can pick up and read? I'm an English major. I'm a graduate of Shippensburg University for my undergraduate degree, and Penn State for my graduate degree, and the University of Pennsylvania for my doctorate. And I love writing. And so that was the joy of it, really providing an opportunity for people to delve into the mindset of the author, not necessarily the leader, the author, and being able to look at the book from my vantage points. So I took the opportunity to, in every chapter, I open up with a poem. And that is basically some of my joy of writing and being a fan of William Shakespeare. Whereas Shakespearean plays all begin with a Shakespearean sonnet, 14 lines of iambic pentameter. The rhyme scheme is A, B, A, B, C, D, C, D, E, F, E, F, G, G. The G, G in every sonnet tells you the meaning of the sonnet, which tells you the meaning of the play. When you can unlock that sonnet, you've already unlocked the play. Now you're just waiting for the entertainment in the actual scenes. I took the opportunity to put poetry at the beginning of each chapter, because that poem tells a story about the journey that's going to happen in that chapter. So the joy of writing was one of the things that I enjoyed the most. Again, the challenges. One of the major challenges, especially when writing an autoethnography, is you're providing some authentic insight into your childhood, some authentic insight into your challenges and successes as a leader. And as leaders, we want to be out on that platform as being strong, being decisive, being able to motivate, being able to walk alongside a team. Sometimes you're on the back of the bus when the kids are driving the bus, because you're learning from them. So there's a level of vulnerability there from the author's standpoint, because as I wrote it, these are stories that I want people to appreciate, to understand what the end result can be or become. But telling that personal story that only your friends and family know, there's a level of vulnerability there, and it's
you're
funny.
Putting it out there.
Yes. And what has been exciting, Doug, is that my childhood friends and my family say, yeah, I remember that. I remember that. Yeah, Lid, I remember that. But then my colleagues who read the book and say, you did what in ninth grade? Oh my goodness. So that level of vulnerability and being able to accept that as being your story. You can't change it. It's your story. There's nothing to hide. There has to be authenticity as a leader. And so those are some of the challenges and successes of and joys of writing
Well, it
writing
may
my
have been
thesis.
challenging, but it sounds like it wasn't terribly painful. You
No,
loved the process.
no, because I enjoy my story. I believe my
Good.
story is indicative of many kids who have challenges who come from underserved communities. So I wanted to make sure that I put something out there for educators that motivates them to continue to stay the course no matter how difficult it may become to reach a student learner in your classroom.
It,
It's tough, but the light switch will and can come on. You just don't
don't,
know when. You have to
don't,
invest in that potential.
don't you think the story is also at the heart of what the American experience is, or what we want it to be?
Absolutely. And I said it in the book, Doug, if we cannot build, if we cannot build euphoria in schools, meaning, there's love, there's direction, there's structure, there are challenging lessons, you know, uh, there is togetherness, there's teamwork, there's activity. If we can't build these things in schools, we don't stand a chance from a societal standpoint outside of schools. There's a book that says everything I learned in kindergarten. And it's the truth. It's the truth. How to play nice in the sandbox, how to be on the same accord with learning, with learning and growing together, how to work with other cultures and ethnicities and genders. All of these things are learned in the school system. And what this is an opportunity to prepare our young people to embark on good futures, great futures, and change the trajectory of our country. Change is constant. Change is constant. And I want to make sure that I have students that are ready to partake in these changes and take their seat at the table and be able to make this democracy even better.
Sounds like a must-read book. How do we get it? Who's your publisher? And of course, it's on Amazon, I assume.
Amazon has everything.
That's right.
My publisher is WGW Publishing. The book can be found on Amazon, and that's Amazon.com. You search Problem Child Khalid Mumin, KHALID MUMIN, and it will appear. Once you get into the book, and I also have other websites in regards to if you would like bulk copies or a professional development opportunity
Good.
around some of the checklists that are in checklists and strategies that are in the book that are in chapters 5 through 9. That those books, and those are autographed copies if you request it. Those books can be found on www.leadershipondemandindemand.com. One more time,
Say that again.
www.leadershipondemandindemand.com.
Great. Well, folks, you've heard about a book you're definitely going to want to read if you haven't already. I want to thank you, Khalid, for telling us about Problem Child.
Yes.
Your enthusiasm, by the way, is infectious.
Oh, thank you.
Love it. It's wonderful to see someone who enjoys what he does so thoroughly. So congratulations again on being named Superintendent of the Year in
Thank you so
Pennsylvania.
much.
And when are you starting on your next book?
I'm going to probably get on it in the summertime.
Oh, you are?
Oh, yeah.
Can you tell us anything about it?
I'm going to keep that close to the vest for now.
Okay.
I'm going to keep it close to the vest for now because I have to really mold and cultivate this idea. But I think I'm on to something. I'm on to something because of some of the feedback that I've been receiving from Problem Child. It's leading nicely into another area that educators are looking for support in. So I'm going to keep it close to the vest for now, but we'll be back at it next summer, Doug.
I think we've got a part 2 coming.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to discussing it with you on our next
Thank
video.
you.
And thank you. I know how busy you are in these extraordinary times, particularly.
Yes.
So thanks for
Yes.
taking the time to tell us about
My pleasure,
problem
my
child.
pleasure, my pleasure. And I tell you, Doug, you know, what we're doing here in the city of Reading, there's no magic to this. There's no secret sauce to this. It's all about great head and heart alignment and having the capacity and a supportive school board to be able to step out there and lead for the children. That's it in a nutshell.
Well, you are a superb leader and model, and it's great to talk with you. And we'll talk again when you're ready to tell us a bit about your next.
Oh, my pleasure. And you know, I love spending time with you, Doug, and Godspeed to great health during this pandemic. And man, we're gonna keep on moving. Can't wait to see you in person, face to face, when we're back to normal. While we're living in these times of
Aren't
the
we all
new
looking
normal.
forward to
Yes.
that? Well, you take care. Be
Thank you.
safe, and we'll talk again soon. And best of luck with the book. I assume it's doing well.
Yes, it's doing well.
A
And
great start.
yes, yes, great feedback coming from educators and you know, consumers who purchased this book. I love it. I love the feedback. I love the interaction. I just love the conversations around education and kids. You know, this is child-centered leadership. It's child-centered leadership, and that's a bona fide recipe for success. I'm very excited about it.
Well, thank you so much again for taking the time.
Thank
And
you.
you keep safe, keep well, and we'll talk back when you're ready to share some of the elements in your new book.
Yes, sir.
Take care.
Will do. Will do.
Thanks,
Take care.
Mike.
Thank you,
Bye.
Doug. Bye-bye.